It's dangerous to go alone. So here, take this. 3 nerds. It's about as useful as the wooden fucking sword.
Nerd is the new sexy.
Hello, welcome. This is Nerds the New Sexy. I am Wildfire1, and with me is...
Sunrise!
And with me also is...
Gambit!
Yes, and this is episode 30 of season 2. We are on our first boss episode.
First boss episode of this season.
Yes.
And I don't think what people really understand is we have literally now been through 30 weeks of our lives doing this. Think about that.
Yeah, well, 30 Fridays of our lives, I guess.
Well, if you listen to these back-to-back once a day, we basically have a month's worth of podcasts to listen to.
Yeah, and
freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Freaking amazing. And today, there's a lot of things to go over. That's why it's a boss episode. There's a lot of things. As you can guess, it's about Zelda.
Yes.
Big topic.
Yes, big game.
Before we get into this, you guys have been waiting and voting and being really patient. This is episode 30. In episode 21, we promised you guys that if you voted for either Batman, me, or Superman, Gambit, one of us would pay the ultimate price. Well,
Fortunately for Wild, it wasn't him. Unfortunately for Gambit, it is him. But fortunately for both of them,
it's me.
Yeah, fortunately for both of them, crazy butt stuff doesn't translate too well over to just audio. So there's going to be some other kind of punishment.
This is what I have planned for you. This is what I have planned for you, Gambit. So for all the listeners out there, and I've had this plan since day one.
To be fair, I had my punishment day one as well.
Yeah. So he can't do it here and now. He's gonna put it on the Facebook page on Monday. But this is his punishment. He's gonna dress up in a dress. And he is gonna sing Let It Go. The first all the way to the first part of Let It Go, all the way to the first chorus. He's gonna dance around.
No phoning it in. You have to do it.
Yes. Yes, and I told him he has to mean it. Yes, he's laughing. He's laughing. He knows he's fucked. He knows I got his testicles in like a death grip right now.
I am a man of my word. I am a man of my word. Fuck you. I'm a man of my word. I will do this. I will man up. And
all right,
I'm just saying.
Here's the thing, though. Okay, if you can't get a dress, then you need to at least have some kind of blonde wig, and you can get those in a lot of places, even Party City.
Have you seen my hair? I don't need a blonde wig. Have you seen my hair? It's luxurious. My hair is luxurious.
If you look at him from behind, you think he's a chick. It's cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's fucking amazing. But to be fair to the fans out there, to the podcast listeners, I am a man of my word. I will do this. It sucks that I lost, but I will swallow my comeuppance. Yeah, and it's not like this is an unfair punishment, because if Wild would have lost to this, I would have made him put on Harley Quinn makeup and confess his love for the Joker in the best Harley Quinn voice that he could possibly do. Because for the fans out there, you know that he's obsessed with Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So I thought it would fix.
Yeah.
And that voice too, that whole 1940s flapper girl voice.
Yeah.
Not
good
the
Harley
Tara
Quinn.
Strong, the good Harley.
The good Harley. But to be honest with you, I don't know how good Harley I can do.
Better than Tara Strong.
Wait. Now here's the thing. This is just a disclaimer for all the fans out there. I apologize. I cannot sing. I have I'm tone deaf as a motherfucker. I have many talents. Singing is not one of them. I apologize.
This is why it's going to be great.
Yeah.
This is why it's going to be great. You guys don't understand. When you see it...
No, you guys think I'm joking. Like, you guys think I'm, like, being humble. No, I sound like Scuttle. Remember in Little Mermaid when he's like, wah, 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 wah? I sound...
Another Disney reference. Good.
Yeah.
So
I expect there to be some dancing.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be dancing. He's going to dance around. He's gonna, I want you to study the first part of that song, and you're going to move just like Elsa.
Well, I will say that I'm a huge nerd fan, as everybody knows. Like, everybody knows me. I'm a very, very big nerd fan. Unfortunately, Frozen is not a movie I've seen, so this is going to take me some practicing. But I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go ham on this bitch. Like, I'm not going to phone it in. I'm going for it. If I'm doing it, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it all the way. I'm going to man up and sack up and bring balls to Elsa. Like, that's what's going to happen.
There you go.
I think you just ruined a couple of people's short childhood that they've had with that movie by saying bringing balls to Elsa.
Well, maybe she needs balls.
Oh, that was a horrible reference, wasn't it? That did not. That reminds me of Archer. Are we not doing phrasing? Are we not doing phrasing?
Seriously, we're not doing phrasing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will be attending the 40th anniversary of the Denver Ren Fair. So I'll be going to the Ren Fair fucking in Larksville, and I am super, super, super excited about this. I will be out there in something of a costume. God, I am very embarrassed from all my nerds out there. When I go out there, I truly apologize because I am not going in full garb. Usually I am either full Irish with the gray kilt and flowing hair, or full armor with a battle axe and a sword. This year, sadly, my stuff is in storage. It's been 5 years since I've been to a Ren Fair, so I am super.
Yeah, Larksville has been my favorite Ren Fair to go to. It really has been.
I'm not joking when I say I feel like a kid at Christmas. I should be in bed right now sleeping, but I can't sleep. I'm that excited. I'm that excited. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't wait to go. But this brings me to the point. For all of our Nerd is the New Sexy fans, if you happen to live in the Denver metro area, if you happen to live in the Colorado area, come on out. I will be doing interviews. I will be taking pictures. Why is Nerd the New Sexy? We will be celebrating all things wonderful in Ren Fair. If you want to be a part of that, find me. I will be constantly updating my Facebook of where I'm at, doing interviews. So if nothing else, look forward to those videos coming on Nerd is the New Sexy's website on Facebook, and the Twitter page will be up no later than Monday. My fellow nerds, you have my word on that.
Yeah, and I've got Nerds New Sexy on the WordPress working as well. So once you start getting stuff, we're also going to be starting the Nerds New Sexy webcomic here soon and everything like that too.
And as well as that, I've thought of a thing we're going to start as a new segment called Nerds in the Kitchen, where we're basically putting together food stuffs like we'll say sea salt ice cream, or Estus from Dark Souls. So you'll see all sorts of good stuff, and of course there'll probably be like references to where I got these ideas, because I'm not that magical in the kitchen. I can cook, but I can't cook that well. Zelda. Let's start with Zelda.
Yeah, man, freaking Zelda. Now growing up in the 80s like we were, I was exposed to Zelda on an NES over at a friend's house because I did not have a Nintendo. Not at first, anyway. What happened was I went over and they had this gold shiny cartridge that I absolutely had to check out and play. And I remember starting a game on it, and the music just starting right up on the freaking music on the entire map screen had me hooked. Oh yeah, and I think that started with a lot of people. That yeah,
it's iconic. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
You know what? This is gonna sound so stupid, but you know what actually caught my eye about Legend of Zelda before any of the actual gameplay of it?
What's
gold
that?
Cartridge, like me.
The gold cartridge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The gold cartridge. The gold cartridge. No, yeah, well, of course I was like 7 years old, so I was kind of stupid, and I was like, look, it's fucking shiny. But it was like, oh, it's gold. It must be special. It must be new. It must be something. Like, as a kid, I looked at it like every game cartridge comes in standard black, and they just have a little picture on them. The NES cartridges were they had some pretty cool art on them, but they weren't like the covers that we have now. No. So to see a game that had like a gold plating on it, it was like, this must be, Kid Logic, this must be gold because they made it gold.
Yeah, it's got to be special.
Yeah, it's special. And Zelda was special. Holy shit.
Zelda has a special place in a lot of people's hearts. Not just because of the game itself, but the music, everything.
Oh, the special place in people's hearts? You left out the cosplay.
Oh, well, yeah, that as well. But we got to admit, like in the 80s, there was no cosplay.
It definitely wasn't as popular back then.
At least
you would see it here and there, and you were kind of like,
it wasn't Americanized, put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
But what caught my attention with that game was, of course, I gotta agree, the gold cartridge. I liked the picture. It had that key, it had that lion, it had a heart, and then it had an empty square. Now, as an adult, I understand the key and the heart. What the fuck's the lion in the empty square?
I think the lion represents the
Yeah, it was the big key, the master key.
Okay.
Yeah, wasn't it? Or wasn't it like a representation of Link being the young warrior? And like,
could be, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking too deep into this shit now that I'm an adult. Looking for like the Illuminati, the symbols and shit.
That's the thing. I'm looking too far into it too. But I mean, I was looking at it the other day because I seen a shirt on. In fact, I posted it on the Nerds and New Sexy Facebook. I seen a shirt and I was like, what's with this and that? You know, what's with the empty space? It's like an empty place in my heart after I beat the game because I wanted it to continue. But the game itself, the first game was just magical. So that was one of the first games I remember that if you typed in Zelda as the name, everything changed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you got the second quest, where quote unquote the master quest and stuff like that. And one of the things that impressed me the most about that game is, you know, not having played what did we call it originally, Dragon Warrior, and stuff like that, and just Dragon Warrior instead of Dragon Quest, just being amazed at the fact. Wow, look at all the screens. Look at all the places I can go. Oh, wow, there's secrets. I didn't know you could burn down a bush. Yeah, I didn't know you can blow open a hole here and go over here. And it was just fantastic.
You actually got your first. When you got your first secret spot that has there, that's the tune. Oh, it's like you just found something fucking special because you're like, holy shit! Like this was not part where I was supposed to go, but I did it. So
it was also one of those games that you went to a dungeon and you felt like you were in a dungeon.
Yeah, you know, and you even make the reference to someone, you know, it's a secret to everybody. You know what you're talking about.
Do you remember this? But what blew me away too when I was first playing the game, because you got to remember this was like 1980s. So what was really cool for me as graphically, so if you've never, let's face it, if you've never played Legend of Zelda, the first one, I don't know what the fuck you're doing with your life, because you can get it on Wii, you can get it on the Wii U, you can download it, you can play the original,
you can get it on an emulator.
So, but for me, what was really, really crazy about it was this over-the-top action, but was the biggest thing that blew me away is when you transferred up, like when you if you went left, right, or up, you know, the screen, it scrolled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
it would follow you.
Like the loading for it made it a bit faster, and it seemed like a faster-paced game because I could just go to the next area in like no time flat. And that was really impressive to me too. And it kind of helped you cheat too, because when you can go over, I don't know if anybody else did this, but you'd go to the left, it would scroll over, you'd see all the enemies and go, oh fuck that, and you'd walk back out the room and you'd be like, no.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time, and I remember first time I actually got to sit down to seriously play it, going, okay, from all the small times that I've had a chance to play this, I know if this is over here and this is over here, and then you start discovering other secrets by yourself. I mean, we're talking about a game that inside of the box where it came with the map had its own, and inside of the the instruction booklet had secrets attached to that, where if you held it up to the light at a certain angle, you would actually see marks for hidden locations inside the game. And the picture of Impa with Link, you know, with the Triforce on his hand and everything like that. It's like, well, holy shit. I mean, even just the stuff it came with, and that's back when instruction booklets, you know, not only came with games, but they were basically the art asset book as well. Thick, and, you know, had you know, small comic in it, you know, with the actual drawings of Link and all the characters and Ganon. Yeah,
and it's funny that you mentioned the book, because the book used to tell us all the names of the monsters. You remember all the crazy names of the monsters?
Dark Nut,
like the like, and the Dark Nut. Of course, you read Dark Nut today and you think it's a porno, you know. Oh my God! Everyone run! It's the Dark Nut.
Or how about how confused we were when it talked about the Pose voice not liking loud sounds, and everybody tried the freaking whistle.
Yeah,
and it didn't work. We're like, what the hell? That's because we had no clue about the Famicom having the built-in microphone and stuff like that.
It had the microphone that people had to whistle into or make noises. And, you know, the thing about that was amazing. I think that we as Americans would have loved that.
Oh, we got screwed when it came to the Nintendo. You know, not to get too sidetracked with it and stuff like that, but I like how we had removable controllers and longer cords than the Famicom. However, some of the stuff we missed out on, like the microphone, and the fact that the original Famicom was a top loader, and we had that stupid tray that broke.
Oh yeah!
Oh god! Remember having to wiggle the games just right, or going up, down, down, down. Like you go push up and down just to know that. Oh, my brother used to make me do that for hours, or wiggle it left to right. You know, my brother used to make me do that shit all the fucking time with this game. Oh, and who doesn't remember blowing cartridges? No, you gotta blow it.
Which technically they say it doesn't work, but I call bullshit.
Zelda, I think, helped ruin a lot of Nintendos just for as long as it was played and everything like that. You know how many Zelda games that I have found where if you look at the bottom, that freaking
like the top part of it where you push it in?
not the top part. Well, that too. Yeah, where it's really, 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 really worn.
Yeah.
Or right across the bottom where they right into the system, and it's just fried and worn out. It's like, damn, you played this shit a lot.
Well, while we're on that particular game, wasn't there a special version of that game that actually, if you sell these days, it costs like it'll make you pretty much rich?
There is a copy of which I actually own. One of these days, I'll prove it. It was the Ocarina of Time, where the first run of the non-gold cartridges had Ganon spitting blood.
Oh, that's right.
And if you have the gray cartridge version of that, which I do, it's worth a lot of money because after the first production run, they changed it to green, and the audio in the Fire Temple is still much more Arabic in my version than in the other versions that I've played, because mine was a first edition run.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I remember hearing it when Gambit and Bish got it, and I was playing it over there, and I remember going, "Your music's different."
Yeah,
I gotta look at the cartridge I have, because I bought much later. I bought a Nintendo 64 just for that game.
Well, before we move on from the first game, what I love now is it's such an iconic game, and it's so wonderful, and it's such a beautiful game that people now compete and do speed runs.
Oh yeah, yes.
and see how fast they can beat the game in one run. I think the world record is like 18 minutes or some shit like that.
That's crazy.
And think about that. That's on a Nintendo game. A speed run on a Nintendo game is 18 minutes to get all the secrets and to walk around on Nintendo.
I think there's another achievement for like doing the game in a speed run. There's a bunch of world record versions. I think I'm pretty sure
bombs
it's
only,
like you
arrows only.
Bombs only. Bombs, yeah, it's bombs and arrows only. You cannot use your sword. And it's like, holy fuck, there are people who can do that shit? Yep. Fuck that.
That's fucking magical. And on top of that, you only have a set amount of bombs to begin with.
Before we leave the first game also is where the confusion came in that Link's name was Zelda.
Yes.
Yep.
I do remember that at first, because I didn't have access to the instruction manual when I first started playing stuff like that. And I was one of the people who thought that Link was Zelda.
Right, because my friend played it, and it states in the beginning your name is Link, and I told him that we were arguing. I'll never forget this argument because we were sitting in the lunchroom. It was lunchtime in school, and it was like grade school, and we're arguing back and forth. Like it was actually my first nerd arguments where it actually almost came to blows.
Probably
like it was legit
there's probably a little war going on about this name.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, this was my first experience of like nerd rage and my level of nerd rage. So we're sitting there arguing. I'm like, dude, no, it's fucking Link. His name is fucking Link. The girl you're trying to save is fucking Zelda. And then I'll never forget his argument. He goes, and he slams his hands on the table. He stands up and he goes, why? And remember, we're in grade school, mind you. He goes, then why the fuck they call it Legend of Zelda? And I was just like,
yeah, the American. I don't know about the Japanese booklet, but the American booklet does not explain why it's a Legend of Zelda. You don't find that out until the second
because
game.
Because you're not saving the princess in the first game. You're fighting Ganondorf in the first game. Yeah, so there really isn't much reference to the Princess Zelda until the second game. So everybody believed that Link was fucking Zelda. Yes. And I was like, dude, it says in the beginning of the name, is your name Link, or do you want to change your name? By the way, that's another thing about the game. It was the first game where you could change the name.
Well, it was one of the first games that wasn't a straight up RPG like Final Fantasy that you can do that. And it was awesome. It was a great...
Yeah, and there. I remember, God, up until recently, there was arguments whether or not Legend of Zelda is an RPG.
I personally think it is, but I think it's preference.
Yeah.
But transitioning on to the second game, let's talk about the differences between the first game, which was an overview screen. The second, Legend of Zelda, was a side scroller, and it was
with experience points.
Yeah,
and
that was more of an
stats,
RPG.
And yeah, I still have mixed feelings.
Yeah, I think
they got influenced by like the Castlevania style, side scroller action adventure.
Yeah, and a time too when the second games were nothing like the first.
And
well, let's not forget that Metroid just blew up, Castlevania blew up at these points in time. And so, like, I think Legend of Zelda looked at what was making money and was like, we got to stay competitive. We got to stay relative to what people want to play, which in hindsight, you can actually say is a pretty smart business move, because instead of doing the same old top overview like they were doing, they're like, no, let's stay relevant. Let's keep our fan base, which I want to put a pin in that, because if that's the way that Legend of Zelda creators were originally thinking, what the fuck happened?
After like A Link to the Past, everything kind of stayed the same, as far as
everything's the same. I mean, I don't want to get into it right now because we'll get into it later, but everything stayed the same, and they're just rehashing old shit. But the idea is they wanted to push the envelope. They wanted to stay relevant. They wanted to appease their fans. They wanted to make something that was popular yet new in their own right, because they did add a lot of elements that I really liked in Legend of Zelda 2. But in the beginning, Legend of Zelda, like Legend of Zelda 2, it was a innovative game. They never took. I mean, yes, they would always sample things that were popular to appease their fans, to try to keep their fans' interest, because that's what you got to do in this business. It moves so fast, it moves quickly. Even back then, it moved so fast that if you don't stay relevant, you die. And they were good enough to stay relevant to give us what eventually became some of my favorite games. Because really, 1 and 2, as fun as they are, and as much as I like to go back and play them on my Wii or my Wii U, my favorite game of all time is Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, I think, too. But.
Yeah, I'll disagree with my favorite on that, but because we're gonna get to my favorite here pretty soon. But I think
our favorite's the same, Sunrai.
Yeah, the difficult. I'm a much better gamer now than I ever have been. I'm probably worse at first-person shooters now than I've ever had been as I'm getting older. My reaction time isn't what it used to be, but I still kick some ass on Battlefield. The difficulty ramp up from first Zelda to the second Zelda.
Oh, God.
And then the difficulty ramp up just from the start of the game to right as you're about to go into Death Mountain is fuck you.
Pretty much. I don't know why I didn't just throw the whole fucking Nintendo out the window. Yeah. That game was so frustrating. Yeah. I've been playing it again on my 3DS.
Yes, me too.
Amazing game. So frustrating.
By the way,
I just wanted to kill a puppy.
It was in Zelda 2, they cleared up the whole name confusion in the second one by going, okay, Legend of Zelda, it's not called Legend of Zelda, it's called Zelda 2, Link. The Adventure of Link.
Yes, that's true. It is not called The Legend of Zelda 2. It is actually called Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link.
Which is great. That's an amazing. Of course, a lot of people know the reference. In fact, it's funny that you mentioned that, because when I first rented the game, back when you can rent video games at stores, at video stores, when I first rented the game, I had no idea it was I didn't know it was like Zelda 2. I didn't know it was even though it said Zelda 2 on there, I would, just because it didn't say A Legend of Zelda, I had no idea it was the sequel to the first game.
Yeah. So now this is also where we actually learn about why it's called The Legend of Zelda, is because some point in the past, the prince was going kind of crazy because of Ganon. Yeah, you find out that it's Ganondorf before he was actually Ganon, and the prince ends up, kind of going wacka. Zelda stops him. He snaps out of it. She's put into an eternal slumber. Which is really interesting because apparently
by a wizard.
No. It was an ancient Ganondorf. This is canon.
Okay.
And the prince is actually who defeats Ganondorf in that iteration.
And we'll get to the timelines eventually.
Yeah, and he demands that every female descendant from then on is called Zelda. And that's how we end up getting all the Zeldas. Now, interesting enough, once Link saves the day in this one and wakes Zelda up, there's technically 2 Zeldas. Because there's the Zeldas from the first game, and now there's this ancient Zelda who was the first Zelda.
Yeah.
Think about that. When we get to timelines, we're going to have to discuss that, because that actually causes some problems even with the official timeline.
Yeah, and when we get the timeline, it's and they actually did post an official timeline, guys.
Finally.
Yeah,
which unfortunately
they
I
really
was
did.
wrong, and I'm not too proud to admit that I was wrong. I will give you my version of what I thought the timeline was. We know what it really was, but back to the second game here. I enjoy that game so much more now than I ever have. I can appreciate it, whereas before I didn't. I just remember thinking the game's too hard and it's not the first Zelda. I don't like it.
Well, when you're young, when we were kids when it came out. When I remember playing it, just getting frustrated. I was like, "Fuck this game! I'm taking it back. I'm gonna get like Mario Brothers or something."
Right.
Well, as an adult, you enjoy the challenge. I still get frustrated, but I'm like, oh yeah, I got to figure out which way to go. And the dungeons in that game and the music
Oh,
was nothing. Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what's in my mind.
You know what I love? You know what I really loved about the second game is so a little. I guess I have to throw a little backstory with this. For those spoiler alert for those who don't fucking play the game. What I really liked about it is the storyline was really really good because for those of you who don't know like the backstory of it, so the Prince of Hyrule was supposed to be given the Triforce by the king after he died. However, the king only gave him 2 pieces of the Triforce. He gave him the power and the wisdom, but the late king hid the Triforce of courage. So like the Triforce of courage was gone, and then Zelda actually told Link about it to go find it to like stop it. So it had a really good storyline.
Yeah, there was an
the first game was you putting together the Triforce of courage.
Was that what that was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's what I dig about the second one so much because they really go back into the Triforce. In the first game, you put together a Triforce of the courage piece.
Yeah,
but
which
now
is
you
why people were confused because it's called the Triforce, but because it's a triangle 1, 2, 3. No, it's a Triforce because there's 3 pieces.
Yeah.
This is where they cleared that up.
There's courage, power, and wisdom, and
well, they really get in that Link to the Past too. So.
Oh yes.
But go on.
They eventually get way more into it, but I love it because this is where it starts though. So you get sucked into this world of like, and I really like the writers because you got to get a shot. Like I'm weird. I like. For those nerds out there who don't really understand, I love games with solid writing. I get into them because of the lore.
Yeah.
Just like a movie. You wouldn't sit through a shitty movie with bad writing, when bad dialogue and bad storyline. Same with the video game. I love this video game, and it's iconic to me.
From a broken heart.
Oh, God. Boo. All this medical shit we can't save her? No. So this one goes into it, and I love the writing. For me, what captured my heart was like, here you are, this little elf boy, which people love to argue that Link was a girl at first. But here you are, this little elf boy, and literally an old man gives you a fucking sword and sends you out to the wilderness with, by the way, this is going back to the first game.
You go back to the first game, I think Link was 13 at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some old, like, by the way, it's dangerous out here. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
It's not even an irresponsible sword. It's a wooden sword.
It's wooden sword. Irresponsible dick. Like,
go bludgeon monsters to death. This isn't even really sharp. Just hit them with it. It's cool.
Yeah. Just hit with it. It's fine. You'll be all right.
I also have my theory where the swords come into where the master, and I will talk about it in this next game, where the master sword came from.
Yeah.
What's crazy is what got me about the writing was something that I realized even when I was a kid is you are putting together the courage Triforce. So you have to go on this adventure, which takes courage as a kid, no less, with a wood sword given to you by an irresponsible parent.
Well, not even a parent, just an adult. He's just like, hey, I don't know you, kid.
Could you imagine if some old dude walked up to a kid nowadays and be like, hey, Sonny, it's dangerous. Here's a Glock 9. Like,
but it's a wooden one. It doesn't really.
I would fucking slap him and hand him a better gun.
but then the gun, like, you're like, all right, I got a gun, but the gun turns out to be an airsoft gun, and you're like, fuck me.
It was 20 times bigger than you are, Yeah.
But for real though, it's a great reference to like it does take courage to go on an adventure as a child, and it does take courage, and that's what video games are. They suck you into this world of fucking fantasy, and that's what this game did to me. That's why it's so iconic in my heart, because it was one of those first games that really sucked me in with the storyline and was just like, I am on an adventure. This matters. This is important. Like Super Mario Brothers, like we talked about it before. The first one didn't have fucking shit for a storyline, but this one had characters and dialogue and made me feel like what I'm doing is important.
Yeah, and
I have to show
epic scale.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's what the first 1 and 2 are really about. And then we get to number 3, I think.
Link to the Past.
Yes, A Link to the Past.
Amazing. Now that's my favorite.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
It absolutely.
I gotta ask why. I got to.
Why? Because it explains so much. The game itself was revolutionary. It basically took the same old like top view and made it 20 times better. The
screens were about 6 times. Each screen was 6 times larger than the original game. It had this is where that Legend of Zelda music, the overworld. Da, 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 da,
I was just getting to that.
Okay, this was, and I believe up until pretty recently, the only other time besides the first game that music was used. But it was so iconic that once it wasn't used in these other games, people are pissed off about it.
Well, not only did they use the music, they updated it, they changed it.
Yeah, it was
they
more
orchestrated it, and they added more to it. It wasn't just it just wasn't the bass and the foreground music. It was so much more. There was more drums. There was more.
You had weather effects with rain. The magic system was pretty awesome. It was.
Since we're talking about fun facts, I will say that I did like Link to the Past because the Master Sword comes up first in this one too.
Yes, and I'm gonna get to that because I swear to God,
good fun fact.
Yeah, good fun fact.
So can we all agree it was first introduced in Link to the Past? Can we at least all agree on that?
Well,
yes.
No,
it was. No, it absolutely was. But I'll explain why it was called the Master Sword.
Yeah,
why they decided to go that way. Now
that's why I say yes and no.
Yeah.
You get
now the other reason I liked this game so much is one. It was the first time besides the first Zelda game or the second Zelda game that I actually felt a little pressure playing the game.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, going through, learning new enemy attacks, finding secrets, learning how to jump through stuff, and then after the initial 3 levels, which was not a quick jaunt through the game.
Oh, no, it was a long process.
It was a nice long process because while you're doing this, you're also finding other secrets to upgrade other stuff to get to other places, and you had to get other stuff to unlock ways to get in. Like the book of was it Medora?
Yeah.
And whatnot, that's actually also the first time that shows up.
Yep.
Was in that game. All of a sudden, there's a whole second part of the game with another 8 dungeons and a 9th boss.
Yep. And that's amazing.
The one that pisses me off the most in that, and everybody says, "Oh God, I hate the ice castle." That level 6. No, that one's not bad. You want to know what the worst goddamn map in that one is?
What's that?
Misery fucking Mire.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
Fuck
I
Misery
agree.
Mire.
Are you sure this wasn't the one where you can bottle up the fairies in this one?
You can bottle up the fairies in this one. That's a first.
Yeah,
this one and the bees.
So
and the bees,
and then of course there's the iconic first, which once I say this, I know you guys are gonna go ape shit. Ganon actually was winning,
and this is why Link needed the Master Sword. And by the way, I looked it up just for fun facts.
Mm-hmm.
So you are too right there, Wild, on the yes and the no.
The Master Sword did first appear in the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Yes.
However, the very first game had the wooden sword, the white sword, and the magic sword. Now, in that game, when you picked up the other 2 swords, the person you picked it up from said, "Master using it, and it is yours." People kept calling the last sword the Master Sword. Everyone I talked to kept referring to it as the Master Sword. And then when Legend of Zelda came out, the best sword you can get is the Master Sword.
Is that what you were gonna say, Gambit?
No, I was actually going to say that. Well, yes, something along that effect. Yeah, it was the first game where.
Oh, actually, it was the wood sword, the magic sword, and then the white sword.
Yeah.
Right, so it was the first game where they finally gave it an actual name, because they like Sunnery said, it was the white sword, the blue sword, but everybody called it the Master Sword. That wasn't actually in the game.
Yeah.
And the game finally went, and which is again one of those things about Legend of Zelda that is so fucking cool that I went on my first little rant about, is that they listened to the lingo of their fans while playing the game. And so for me, it was kind of like a wink, and it was a big wink and a nudge to the fans going, "Hey, we listened to your lingo. Hey, we're cool." And you know. But it was cool to me, because I was like, oh my God, you actually listened to what our lingo is, and we were calling the last one the Master Sword, which wasn't the Master Sword, but this one had a name, and it was like so cool because we didn't have to change what we talked about with the swords. It just became a progression, 1, 2, and 3, and eventually then we get the Master Shield as well, but that's a couple games later.
Yeah, because the best shield in The Link to the Past was the Mirror Shield.
Yeah, which was an amazing shield. And in fact, I don't think they call it if they call it the Master Shield, it's probably one of the games I've never played. But I know it is the Hylian shield, or whatever the
Hylian.
Hylian. Thank you.
Yes.
So yes. But I
actually think it might be pronounced Hylian, because they're the Hylia.
Hyrule.
So,
yeah, Hyrule.
You know what's funny?
I always call them the Hylian, but
Japan.
Oh, I was gonna say, I heard Sunrays, but Wild. Why is it your favorite? Because Sunray, you did a good job. I'm fairly impressed with all the stuff. And you're right. And seriously, as you were talking, I was getting all nostalgic, like playing it and being like, oh, that was a fucking great game.
Yeah. I remember at the end playing through it and getting to the end and seeing 136 games, going, fuck, I died a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I remember fond memories, but I just don't. You guys haven't swayed my vote for Ocarina of Time on this.
And the world was much more populated than Ocarina of Time. There's always something on the screens.
It was bigger. It was also very much bigger. It had some really cool towns. You know, it felt like it was. It didn't feel like the first game when it was just like everyone was hiding in friggin' caves and shit.
Yeah.
A lot of the most amazing lore came from this game. The Seven Sages. Okay.
Yes.
The Sages
come from this one. Yes.
Yeah.
They're a big part. They turn out to be a big, influential part of Zelda, of the Zelda world and the realm and the lore. And you, of all people, should understand that lore is important. But what were you going to say, Sunray?
Well, the fun fact on this is this was literally supposed to be the start of the Zelda mythos.
Right.
This was how everything started, and this was before any of the other games.
And
the Seven Sages created a magical seal to close the Golden Realm. Was it the Golden Realm?
It was the Golden Realm.
Which is weird because when it was ported to English, there was a lot of liberties taken, especially in the instruction booklet where it talked about how the Triforce was housed in certain buildings and the wish thing and stuff like that kind of confusing, and they sealed him away in the Golden Realm. It's like, why would they seal him away with the Triforce?
Yeah, that's a dumbass thing. I always asked about that.
Yeah, and it's because it's a bad translation. What they actually did was they basically sealed him away between dimensions. And what ended up happening is
Twilight Realm or whatever.
Yeah, nobody could defeat him, and he already had one of the pieces of the Triforce.
Yeah.
He had the Triforce of Power. Through the use of his own Triforce power and sending out agents and influencing people, through his own evil, managed to get it collected to him, and through the weakening through the ages, he got a hold of all three pieces.
Yep.
Once he had all three pieces, the Triforce basically granted the wish the best it could given his situation and created a whole new dimension. And he was trying to break free from that prison, which he now had an entire realm to rule, but he didn't want that. He wanted the real world.
He wanted Hyrule.
Yeah, so what ended up happening is that realm started to bleed over, and he still couldn't come through quite yet, and that's why he was using basically a shadow puppet of Agnem the Wizard.
Yeah, but it's a really dumbed down version of the Darkspawn theory.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll continue on with why I like this specific game. The music, like I said earlier, there's been additions to it. There's been different versions, and there's the newer songs came out. There were newer songs that came out in that version of the game that are still iconic today, that are still used in games. The fact that the very last battle where you get to see this crazy looking Ganon who's a pig, not just the goofy looking pig in the first game, but no, he's this badass looking guy, and then you got to kill him with a silver arrow, and then that fight alone is epic. It feels epic. Which
does bring up the strange point, because in the original Zelda, you had to defeat Ganon using the silver arrow.
Yes.
In this one, it was the Master Sword and the silver arrow, and it's never really been explained, but there's very much a suggestion that the upgrading of the Master Sword in the game was nothing there but a gameplay mechanic, that the Master Sword had weakened so much up until that point, he had to use the silver arrow. And come Zelda 1, Zelda 2, the Master Sword was gone.
Yeah.
It disappeared. That's why the silver arrows were so important. And it never killed Ganon. It simply continued to seal him away.
It was his allergy.
Right.
Yeah, it was his allergy.
His silver allergy.
Which brings us into, which actually is a great segue into the worst game ever made in the series. Nope, the fourth installment, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening.
Oh, no. You
No,
can't
that
say
is such a good game.
I love that.
Oh, that's such bullshit. Oh, that game is such bullshit.
Okay.
Oh my god. I'm Link and I'm shipwrecked on an island and I gotta find all my equipment and then I gotta wake up a fucking fish. Like that's how I get off this
I
island.
think it was a dream.
Right, which is the worst part about it because then it's like all the work I did means nothing. It's literally just like, oh, I didn't do shit.
It's the game is called Link's fucking Awakening. The whole reason you're doing that is to wake the fuck Link up.
Yeah, not the.
Well, I don't care. There's no Triforce. There's no Ganondorf. There's no princess. I'm stuck on a fucking island in an acid trip. That's what it is.
That's the first game that they introduced Marion. Yeah, and then it's also the first time they used what's come to be known as Zelda's Lullaby. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck that game. Fuck everything about that game. Fuck that game.
Hater.
Yeah, he's a hater. Yeah, and what a lot of people don't understand is that game happens after A Link to the Past, but before Zelda 1. It's the same Link as A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, don't give me a fucking game where the whole fuck. Look, I put hours into this game, and you're gonna tell me that none of it fucking matters because all I did was wake him up from a bad dream. I'm basically his dad at this point. This is bullshit.
It might not be as a satisfying conclusion.
No, it's not. No. Satisfying conclusion. I'd rather have a hooker kick me in the balls instead of coming. It's a shitty conclusion.
No, I'm still gonna disagree with you on that. It's just I
think the game is great though.
Now I will say this: they did pretty much dick ride the whole graphics wise as far as like the third Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Because the game itself was pretty much mechanic wise, it was just the same game. It had a lot of new monsters and a few more mechanics.
I love how the more I'm talking about this, the more you guys are like, yeah, it sucks.
No,
I'm
not agreeing. Because
I mean the conclusion and the satisfaction of it maybe, but the actual game itself I thought was fantastic.
The game was great.
I thought it was better than Seasons and Ages.
Sonny, your argument is, well, the sex felt great, and then she punched me in the testicles. That's your argument. Like, the sex isn't good, and I don't get a release and a climax. What the fuck's the point? You don't punch me in the testicles after
you still get a climax. You just get punched at the end, so it doesn't hurt as much.
It's like a donkey punch. It's a donkey punch.
Yeah, it's a donkey punch.
Well, you know what? With a game called The Link's Awakening, you should expect a donkey punch.
Yeah.
No. I expected Link's Awakening as like Link becoming like fucking Super Saiyan. Like he's becoming a badass. Not stuck on an island trying to wake up a fish.
I'm sorry. It's how you said it. I can't even make a straight face. I'm stuck in an island. Trying to wake up a fish. This is how you fucking said it, dude. Anger there.
That's what the game is. I'm sorry if I'm so angry and so passionate about it, but fuck that game. Okay. Like, I'm sorry.
A quick rundown of this game is Link gets shipwrecked. I guess he's sleeping through the whole shipwrecked situation. What you think he wakes up to is he's on an island.
Wait, hold on. Let's just put a note right there. I'm going to nerd around further. What the fuck is a forest elf doing on a goddamn ship?
Well, one of the games is about the whole world being flooded with water, so it's like Waterworld, so maybe, what the fuck with that too. But my point being is he finds himself he's stranded on a fucking island, which, let's be honest, isn't really original, but that's okay. Yeah. Finds that he has to wake up the windfish.
Fucking fish.
Now, this is what I like. He had to find a bunch of instruments to wake it up. He had to find a bunch, like a harp, a drum, and
he had to form the Beatles.
Yeah, pretty much. He had to form
fucking fish.
I'm not gonna go out and say it's the best game in the series, but it's definitely a fun game to play.
Here's the thing. What is it? And they took the ship right. Okay, let me calm down because that last scream actually made me a little lightheaded. Seriously though. And they took the shipwreck angle way too much with it. Like, they basically are like, okay, you're shipwrecked. Oh, by the way, during the shipwreck, which I guess would happen, but it's like, you lost all your shit. But hey, lucky for you, all your shit wound up on the island somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, let's say that I was in a shipwreck and the waves carried my gear to the beach. It wouldn't be scattered all over the fucking island. It's not like they go onto the fucking, like, my bow lands on the beach, a bird swoops out of left.
I know how to fix this. I know how to fix this, and Gambit, you're gonna hate me. You ready for this? You ready for this?
Yeah, go ahead.
It was a dream.
Oh my god.
Ta-da!
Oh, so bad.
I love how much you hate this game. But there are so many games, especially the Game Boy versions, that we can't get into all of them. But they all have premise, they all have meaning, and they're a little close and near and dear to our hearts because some of them remind us and give us nostalgia of other games.
Yeah, I loved Ocarina of Time.
Oh
like
yeah,
I said I really do. The world's open, but it's empty.
It's my number 2.
It's my number 2 as well.
Actually, that was a perfect segue because actually the next game released in 1998 was Ocarina of Time. So okay, because this is my number 1. So Ocarina of Time came out, and mind you, this was 1998. So I was 14 years old.
No, sell us on this game. Why is this game so magical to you?
I'm telling you.
Okay.
So it came out in 1998. I was 14 years old. It was the N64, which was a great system. It was the first one that was truly 3D with a camera that can move around your body at all angles.
With a decent lock-on system.
Yeah, with a decent lock-on system.
With a decent lock-on system? Are you kidding me? When you zoomed in with your slingshot to do your actual aiming, that was the start of first shooting. It was the first time where you could go from third person to first person.
That yes,
I'll agree with that.
You know, we could seamlessly flow into it felt like you were zooming in with your real weapon, like you are actually drawing the bow, or when you're a kid, because you start off. And that's another thing too. This one has a great storyline. When we're talking about storylines, you start off as a kid and you get waken up from a nap, chilling in your tree after drinking a couple appletinis, and then
damn it,
she comes in and wakes you up, and she's like, "Hey, there's a sword over here," and it's not that quick of an adventure because there's a tutorial on how to move new system.
Yeah.
Hey,
oh yeah. Hey, look, over here.
Yeah.
That isn't an iconic character. Is the fairy? I still to this day at my work hear people come in and their text messages, "Listen," and it's just like,
okay, that's true. I do hear that.
Yeah. Is that the end of the game when she flies away? And like, I guess it's a fan thing. People think she dies. In my head, she does die. As soon as she goes out that like in the lights, she just falls down and dies. And nobody
claps.
Yeah, no one claps. It's just like, I'm done, guys. And then she just falls and like, she's all like fucking like mangled and shit. And a fucking wolf bites her and like just fucking shakes her around and then kills her, and that's it. And I'm happy.
Both of you guys are gonna love this because you referenced it in number 2.
Huh?
So the story progresses and you find the Master Sword, and it's a very sword in the stone moment. You have to pull the Master Sword. You have to pull the Master Sword as a kid, and then it's prophesied that like you will rule Hyrule, and then you're put into suspended animation for 7 years. And when you wake up, it's not like, oh, I'm awake, I'm an adult because now I can wield the Master Sword and shit's good. No, it's, oh shit, I woke up, and because I was gone for 7 years, Ganondorf runs this bitch.
Let me ask you something, and this of course goes back to my love of another game, the third game. How many sages are there in this game?
7 sages.
Thank you.
The 7 sages, it's the 7 sages who tell you about that, and you got to, again, banish Ganondorf off and all that stuff. But then you go on the adventure, and what's super dope is the adventure, and what I love about it, and what I truly love about this game is the ocarina, playing the ocarina. Who doesn't remember those iconic tunes playing the ocarina?
And having the ability to get the horse. I remember when I first learned I could get Epona, I was just like, oh my god.
And the horse riding was... The horse riding
good.
It was good. And then let's not forget the temples too. The temple challenges, and when people say, in my mind, and this actually became a Facebook meme that I couldn't. It was the first Facebook meme that I truly screamed while looking at it. Yes, because I feel like people who say they hate Ocarina of Time, it's because they can't pass the water temple.
Oh god,
I beat the water temple first.
I love the water. I love the boss in the water temple.
But you got to admit that the water temple was extremely hard.
Oh yeah,
it was annoying.
It's the game. The game itself was fun. And as you're talking about the Ocarina, I'm gonna go back to the game you hate. Okay, because Zelda's Lullaby is what song? It's the same song that awakens the windfish.
Oh, the windfish, yeah.
It's they used it as Zelda's Lullaby. Come on, dude.
Yep.
Oh,
You know,
they
I
did.
yeah, you know, and honestly, I would say my tie for second is both Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword.
I can't say I played Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword is amazing. I like the Minish
Twilight
Cap too
Princess.
because they actually have the Legend of Zelda Overworld theme,
Yeah.
which is funny because it took Capcom making a goddamn Zelda game to get the fucking music back. Now, because we're talking about the Ocarina of Time, let's get into the timeline a little bit here. So let me basically explain how I thought the timeline went before we got the official timeline. Now, this was before Four Swords. This is before Phantom Hourglass. This is before Twilight Princess. This is right around the time Majora's Mask and stuff like that came out.
Which Majora's Mask is confusing as all fuck. I'm just gonna
But
say.
it is amazing.
Yes.
It really is.
It is good, but it is confusing.
Yeah. So basically, this is how I honestly thought everything went. You have Ocarina of Time. There's no split. It's a single timeline. And I was able to explain this in a way that made sense, even if people didn't agree with it. Link takes the Master Sword. He's put in suspended animation for 7 years. He goes into the future. He fights Ganon, and he comes back as a kid. And everyone's like, "Oh well, he meets Zelda, and he tells her, and they arrest Ganon." Okay, the reason I always thought that was stupid was because you're going to arrest the leader, the one male born every 100 years to this warrior encampment simply because some fucking 4-year-old goes, "That's a bad man, mama."
He touched
No,
my
that's
no-no
fucking
zone.
stupid. So what I honestly thought happened was, just like how one of the timeline theories, you know, how time actually flows, is he goes back in time, meets back up with Zelda, says, "Don't worry, in the future, I've already fixed everything. Things are going to get bad, but don't worry about it." So at that point, there's technically 2 Links running around. Until Ganon kidnaps Zelda, there's 2 Links. He's doing his best to stay out to stay out of the way. All the events still happen because he was put into suspended animation for 7 years. So while all that stuff is going on, that Link leaves to go find Navi, and Majora's Mask happens.
Okay.
He never comes back. The world's fine, and then A Link to the Past happens, and then in the following games. That makes sense for a single timeline. Now, that's not what happens.
Oh no, it splits into fuck you,
Yeah,
fucking
it
fuck.
splits into all kinds. And I'm still really not happy with with their explanation of the whole.
It's confusing as shit.
Yeah, basically, I'm just really glad they didn't exactly go with the whole, "Oh, he went back, told Zelda told Daddy arrested Ganon."
Well, I mean, it could be
Thank God
worse.
they didn't do that. So what actually happens is, and this is huge. Okay, nerds, massive fucking spoilers right now.
Oh yeah.
This timeline is full of spoilers. We can't get into any of the timeline without providing spoilers because it is extremely fucking important. When Wind Waker came out and they told the story, I just remember thinking, wow, this must have happened way after the second game, or it's happened before the whatchamacallit, before like a Link to the Past or stuff like that, and everything like that, and people were just confused about the story. So when Ganon says, "You are the hero of time, reborn," and people are saying, "Oh, see, he's reincarnated," I was saying, no, he wasn't, because he's just saying that you remind me of him, and so he's saying you're the hero of time, reborn. Just like if someone looked at, you know, let's Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee are the same era. Yeah, and they were actually in a couple of movies together.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee worked very closely together. And matter of fact, Hollywood, this is just a fun fact tangent, that Hollywood actually wanted Jackie Chan to replace Bruce Lee as like that tough action star. And Jackie Chan was like, "No, Bruce is Bruce. I'm going to be Jackie."
And so imagine, okay, let's pretend that they did not appear in the same time. Let's say Jackie Chan is just now an emerging young star. And someone goes, "This is Bruce Lee reborn." They don't literally mean he's a reincarnation of Bruce Lee. They just
Racist.
mean this is a new, like if all of a sudden someone went, "Yeah, this is new Steve McQueen." They don't literally mean it's Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
So I was just saying, well, he's just saying that you are the hero of time, you know, of this era, and this is, you know, stuff like that. And again, it turns out that I was wrong, but it does make sense. It'd be like if somebody was named Adolf Hitler, you wouldn't go, "That's the same fucker." You know, and he's young, and everything like that, you wouldn't go, yeah, that's definitely Adolf Hitler. That's the same
Adolf.
motherfucker.
Fucking Adolf.
What if he has the mustache and the hair?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You would just say, wow, that's kind of an asshole.
That's uncanny.
Yeah.
That's uncanny.
Again, this is why it's important that I bring up that statement. Okay, so basically what happens is you have Skyward Sword, and this is where it kind of fucks up the whole Zelda 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have Skyward Sword. You have Link, Zelda, Impa, and Ganondorf. Turns out, Ganon, Link, Impa, and Zelda, well, not so much Impa, but definitely Zelda, Link, and Ganon is himself a god, basically. He is an evil, destructive god who keeps coming back, literally reincarnated. Zelda, who was named Zelda, was originally a championess or champion of the goddess, there to support and make sure the hero actually can do his duty by beating back Ganon.
She's Link's cheerleader.
Yeah. So they are both constantly being reincarnated whenever they're needed. Impa as well. She will always come back to be the direct protector of Zelda.
The goddesses are dicks.
Yeah. Now,
right?
this is also kind of fucks things up because you have the three goddesses who created the world, but then you also have the goddess who I'm not too sure if it's the embodiment of all three goddesses together being one entity or is actually a goddess, because now there's actually a goddess of time as well.
Yeah.
Which comes up in Wind Waker. So, I mean, it's kind of fucking weird with stuff like that.
They explain a lot of this in Hyrule Warriors, too.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm glad they explained it somewhere.
It explains a lot of the timeline.
Okay. Yeah, so then you have Skyward Sword. Everything happens. The world, everybody crashes back down to the world. That's where you have the Legend of the Minish Cap, where a hero fell from the sky and he defeated the evil with the sword. The Minish recreate the sword based off the stories they hear from the people. They're also who put all the rubies and stuff like that inside plants. Minish Cap was freaking awesome. However, this creates the Four Sword, not the Master Sword.
Yep.
Kind of important because you create the Master Sword in Skyward Sword.
Yep.
Then you have Four Sword Adventures where Vaati comes back again, which I never really liked Vaati, but he's okay. Then you have Ocarina of Time. Now, Ocarina of Time splits things into three timelines. So you have two adult eras. One where Link either doesn't beat Ganon in time or he's killed.
Different dimensions, guys.
Yeah, the official timeline says the hero's defeated. Now, I like to think that he wasn't able to kill Link, but Link wasn't able to stop Ganon, and he merged all three Triforces together and fuck shit up.
And of course, that's where
Link to the Past, Oracle Seasons and Ages, which happens at the same time, then Link's Awakening, then a couple hundred years later, A Link Between Worlds, then Zelda 1, Zelda 2.
Yep.
Now, remember when I said it's kind of strange that The Legend of Zelda is The Legend of Zelda because the first Zelda is the start of the whole legend? Mm-hmm. Well, Skyward Sword kind of goes, nope. Then you also have where everybody was arguing with when Link goes back, he starts another timeline. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that's actually true. So what ends up happening is he warns the king and queen after telling Zelda. They watch Ganon closely. Ganon goes to attack. They stop him. They seal him away. That's where Twilight Princess and Four Sword Hyrule Adventure starts. Now,
good game.
I fucking love Twilight Princess.
So did I.
It is again, I would put it as my third favorite, almost my second, but god damn, that was a good game. Here's even more shocking information. Hero in the Twilight Princess that teaches Link new moves is the adult Link, or is the child Link grown up after being locked away from Hyrule and unable to protect it after Majora's Mask. When Ganon came back. That is the Ocarina of Time child Link as an adult. That is official.
That makes sense. I mean, like I said, Majora's Mask is confusing as shit.
Yeah, and that is actually official. Then you also have where Link in the future beats Ganon, and they seal him away at the end of Ocarina of Time, and that's where the Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks all come into play.
Yeah.
So
Which I never played Spirit Tracks, but I never played Spirit Tracks. But I will say Twilight Princess is a damn good one. It was a very, very good game.
It was
Midna and Wolflink and the Darkness. It was a little depressing, but it was still a very, very, very well done game, and I was very happy with it. I would dare say it's probably my second or my third because I really like Skyward Sword myself, and I can't really decide between the two. And sadly, after Majora's Mask is really where I stopped playing the games. That's where I kind of dripped off until, fast forward a little bit, I played Hyrule Warriors. But that's not really a Legend of Zelda game, and we'll get to that later.
And I don't think that's even actually a part of the official timeline. It's more of a what if. Yeah, it explains a lot, but it's not. The game itself doesn't.
The game's fun as shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it? I've never played it.
Yes, it is fun as shit.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on the game. I like the game a lot. It's Dynasty Warriors with all your favorite Legend of Zelda characters. It's fucking awesome.
Put me off.
And you can upgrade. And you can upgrade the weapons. And there's more. There's like 4 weapons per character. You just got.
The reason why I say it's not really a Legend of Zelda game is because there's no real story to it. There's no canon. There's no.
Oh, there's story. It's just what you know. It's nothing.
Yeah. It doesn't. That's my point. It doesn't progress the story. So it's just kind of like, okay, this is like the way I look at it is like it's between any. It could be between any one of the series of games, and it's you just beating ass and being awesome.
Let me put it this way. It brings in a few of the characters that all the characters that you love, and I don't know if there's ever was. You guys, especially those of you who played all of the Legend of Zelda games, because I haven't played them all since. I think I stopped at Twilight Princess. They brought in a female Link by the name of Linkle.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Basically what we thought Link would look like as a female, and she uses like crossbows. She's a badass.
Doesn't she use a double crossbow?
Yes, she uses these crossbows that like attached to her, like I don't know, her hips or something, and then she pulls them out. She's just a badass, but she's also a fucking ditz. She can't read a map for the life of her. You know, they make that clear because, like, after you beat like whatever level is her, there's a little cutscene that shows, the character doing something cool or doing something goofy. She looks at this map, and then she points this she puts it upside down and looks at it, and she points in one direction, like, this is the way to go. And she goes that way, and she passes a sign that says, like, Hyrule Castle, the opposite direction. So it's a really cool game. I think that as far as canon goes, it's not necessarily in the timeline, but it talks about the timeline. And if you're confused about the timeline, it made me understand. So it's really cool. And it brings in all of like the Toon characters, and everyone's together, and it explains why they're together. It's really cool. It really is.
That brings me into like games like the Toon characters. Is like what's the newest one? Link's Triforce Heroes.
Oh yeah.
Where you're 3 links and they're all Toon links, and it goes back to what Legend of Zelda, because like Legend of Zelda at the end of the day, as much as it is an adventure game, it was very much a puzzle solving game.
Yeah.
Like it really was a puzzle solving game. It was riddles and puzzles and fun things to work the brain, and those Toon games pretty much just do the puzzle aspect of it. It's like this game is nothing more than it's just puzzle games. It's like brain games and shit, which I really enjoy. But then I don't really feel like I get the storyline from them. They're fun because the challenges they come up with, you got to stack 3 links on top of each other to get over this hill and then pull each other up, and then you got to like have 3 links stand on different levers in the dungeon to open the door.
Yeah, on the timeline, it officially you're the same Link as A Link Between Worlds.
Okay, I see where you're going with that, Gambit, because it's almost like they're trading like an awesome storyline for like a gimmick.
Yeah,
exactly. It's those kind of games like that feel very much gimmicky to me, and that's why I stopped playing them. Which actually gets down to like my real big nerd rant with the series, which I said I'll put a pin in later. Is that really the problem with Legend of Zelda has become, as much as I've praised it over the past like hour or whatever, however long we've been talking, the problem with Legend of Zelda has become they've had 2 new systems out, the Wii and the Wii U. And neither one of them put new games out. They just rehashed the same shit. And the games they did put out on them weren't real games, in my opinion. Now they're rectifying that situation with a new Legend of Zelda game coming out, slated sometime next year.
Open world! Yep.
I am going to get a Wii U just for this game.
Well,
it's If it's on the NX, I'm gonna have to get a fucking NX.
Yeah.
It's actually slated for both the NX and the Wii U. Now, this is just rumors. E3 happens next week, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys don't know what E3 is, we're on the wrong podcast. But all the rumors about the new Legend of Zelda are gonna be premiered and shown at E3, which I'm super excited about. Because that goes back to my original point, is that they just rehashed the same shit. Let's be honest. On the Wii and the Wii U, they came out with Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time. Shit, the Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
The Ocarina of Time just got remastered for the 3DS. Like, all they're doing is just polishing up their old stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. I've said how much I love the games. I love Legend of Zelda. I love the company. I'm happy you guys are polishing up your classics. It's like taking down your favorite trophy and polishing it up. But instead of taking all that time and all that manpower and all that effort and polishing up the things that I've already played and already love, how about finishing the game that you've been promising me for the past 5 years, which is the new Legend of Zelda game, which the actual title will come out during E3 as well.
Yeah, we're not getting a true remake of Final Fantasy VII. We're getting a fucking episodic game.
Oh, don't get me started.
They fucking do an HD remix of Final Fantasy X and X-2. Fuck you.
Don't get me started.
Don't even get me started on Final Fantasy
You fucked
remake.
up. Yeah. You fucked up so bad.
Don't even get me started. Let's not even get there. But no,
however, Square, I will still tickle your balls for 15.
Oh,
here's the thing. No, fuck 15. Fuck 15 in the ass. I told you not to go there. I told you not to fucking go there. Like, oh my god, no. Oh my god, have you seen the trailer for 15? You're my son. You're the Disney. And there's a bunch of dudes driving in a car with wave. It looks like 10-2. But for the male version, it's a bunch of bros telling bros how much they love bros, and they're gonna bro hug it, and they're even gonna give each other sloppy bro jobs.
You haven't been keeping up on it then.
This is great.
No, clearly I haven't. Because the first trailer made me so mad, I thought I popped a testicle.
Well, you were squeezing them at the time.
Well, okay, I even put this on Twitter. I am not excited for 15, and there's a reason for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't get excited. Don't get your hopes up. Just don't even think about it. Don't talk about it. Just no.
My reason for not being excited is because they've given us all these polished turds recently. Like,
that's why it's because you didn't play the Discani demo and you haven't played the Platinum demo.
No, I haven't. And
you need to.
You're my guinea pig. If you're gonna,
dude, I am so fucking excited for 15 and for Kingdom Hearts 3 after playing the system. Fucking hard right now.
Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm totally excited for, but yeah, we were tangenting. Let's go back to what we're supposed to.
So my point being is with like, yeah, you guys are giving us games that I love, and I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for bringing back Ocarina of Time. It's a great game, and who doesn't want to play it on my 3DS, just walking around town and playing? It's nostalgic, and I can't argue with bringing nostalgic back, but don't. And this is just my point, and maybe I'm fucking wrong. This is maybe why I'm not in the video game business, because I'm not about greed and just taking money. Is don't
that's Bungie.
Don't take so much time to just redo old games that I love for nostalgic sake, for money and being a fucking money whore. Instead, go back to the Legend of Zelda that was like watching other video games, seeing what they were doing, listening to the fans and being like, dude, they love our shit. Let's give them something else to geek out about.
Well,
and no, it's not honest. Like, no, let's not give them something new to geek out about. Let's just give them the same stuff. It's like, don't get me wrong, I love steak. I can eat steak almost every day, but by the 15th day, it's like, can I get a pizza or a burger or maybe a salad? Like, I love steak. Man.
Yeah, like the Jews in the desert with mana. At some point, it gets tiring.
Well, let's be honest about this. Friggin' Nintendo really hasn't been on the ball for a long time.
Yeah,
they've pretty much dropped the ball with like. Maybe after the Nintendo 64.
Well, I mean, the N64 was obviously my favorite. I mean, you had so many iconic games that were just at their peak at that point because you had like the Mario Kart at N64 is my favorite Mario Kart.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
We just kicked each other's ass constantly.
Then you also had Ocarina of Time, which came on that as well, which is obviously my favorite Legend of Zelda game. And then you had the start of first-person shooters. You had GoldenEye, exactly. Yeah. Like I knew where I was going. And you also had Star Fox, the first like real popular Star Fox game that was on it.
I take it back. The first popular Star Fox was on the SNES.
True, it was on it, but I mean,
it was the first more open. Like you had like the free range zone.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Not only that, but 4 players could play with it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like.
So then after the N64. I was right.
Yeah, I would say the fall started after the N64, in my opinion, because that's when Nintendo found their little niche with being like, oh, you know what? It's cool to press boundaries and do this, but let's be the Disney of video games, and let's just let's just cater to kids. This is my biggest rant, and while this for me say it many times, Sunny, I don't know if you've heard it, is my biggest problem. And if you don't believe me, just walk into any video game store and look at Nintendo and tell me how many adult-rated games are on there. There's a few. Call of Duty tried to go on there. Batman Arkham Asylum tried to go on there, but it's actually called Batman Blackgate. You know, putting it. But the whole wall of Nintendo, Wii and Wii U, is going to be fucking Mario, Legend of Zelda, Donkey Kong, Sonic. It's
Metroid.
It's Metroid. It's so catered to kids.
Hey, I liked Other M. Fuck both of you.
I never played Other M, so I can't give you.
I loved it.
Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with kids' games. I love a good Disney movie. Shit, I've seen every Disney movie in theater except for Frozen. You know, I just recently I took a date to go watch Zootopia.
No,
I fucking love fucking Disney movies.
I am laughing because you referenced Frozen, and I just thought.
I was gonna say you better start singing. You got to sing it.
Frozen, yeah.
But yeah, that's my point. So there's nothing wrong with playing a Legend of Zelda game. There's nothing wrong with being kid friendly. But like, Jesus Christ, like, look, Nintendo, you catered to kids because that's who were playing video games in the late '80s, early '90s.
Exactly.
We grew up. Please, for the love of God, please, for the love of God, grow up with us. Give me a Link that's a little bit more badass. Give me a Link that when he stabs Ganondorf into the throat, it actually shows it. Like, he chokes on his own blood and shit.
Yeah, I want to see him die horribly. Thank you, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
But
give me a graphic sex scene between Link and fucking Zelda.
Yes, I agree with that. I want like spank bank material.
Link is literally a 26-year-old version. If you go by like 1980s.
And he's an elf.
Like when Link came out. Yeah, and not only that, and not only that, but Zelda's been blue balling him since day one. Like, it's not been a good time.
Now let me ask this: what is it with Nintendo and princesses just blue balling the hero?
Seriously.
Like, come on, man. Let fucking Mario have some, at least a blowjob or something.
Come on! You know exactly what was going on. If Mario would show up. I beat them. Sorry, Mario. Princess is another castle. Okie dokie. And as soon as he leaves, Toad goes back there, and she's like, "He really believe that? I'm in another castle." Yeah, Toad's about to be in another princess.
I believe it, man.
Well, Toad did look like a giant penis.
Well, yeah.
You know what the fucked up thing is? If you look at that sprite, he's flipping you off.
That's right.
He's giving you 2 middle fingers since the fucking 80s.
Yeah. So he's literally giving Mario the middle finger because he's not letting him. He's blue balling him. Yeah. You know. And then okay, think about this. Even worse. You are Link. You just went through hell and back, especially in the second game. Literally the hell and back, because we were just talking about how hard that game was, to fucking rescue Zelda and wake her up just so you can maybe get a fuck, but you don't. She's just like, okay, thank you, I'm going back to... No, fuck that bitch. I would have fucked her ass in her sleep.
Yeah. Literally fucked her in the ass.
Fuck her ass in her sleep. Fuck her. Fuck that fucking going through all those mazes and shit. Screw that. I'm just going to get the quick, happy retribution I need, and then I'm just going to go on my merry way. Fuck, The Legend of Zelda is getting pregnant while she's sleeping.
Oh, man. Oh, that went dark. That went dark so fast. That escalated quickly, boys.
The Legend of Date Rape.
Yeah.
The Legend of Date Rape.
Well, we should probably end on that note.
Nerd Tech.
All right, so like we always like to tell everybody, remember, we're not sponsored by anybody. Nobody's paying us for reviews. Nobody's paying us to say anything good about them. Hell, there's a couple of companies that I would mention about good experiences, and in the same breath, I'd call them a bitch. I called a couple of people a bitch 4 times before breakfast.
Bungie,
but
you suck.
Bungie, fuck you, Bungie. Though I did like Destiny until they fucked it up. Fuck you, Bungie.
Sorry, I just gotta say this. I imagine, for all my nerds out there, you might get a chuckle at this. I imagine Sunray all snuggled in bed, just dead asleep, and all of a sudden it's just, fuck you, Bungie! And like, he just like jumps out of bed.
It's how I wake up in the morning. Fuck you, Bungie!
Fuck you, Bungie!
He's like during his work day, he's like just PTSDing, just like, fuck you, Bungie, so hard.
Oh yeah, people stop questioning it. What has happened recently is for, I don't know, maybe almost 5 years now, I have not been part of the PC Matthew race for a long time. Like I said, about 4.5, maybe 5 years. For as long as me and my wife have been dating and married, I've been talking about getting a new goddamn computer. Yep. It has not happened. I have finally gotten a new computer. I got an i7 hex core 7800K, which I know it's not the super top of the line, but I don't fucking care because I'm not rendering. Yeah, I'm not producing certain things. This is GDX 1080 NVIDIA Founders Edition, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 2666 whopping power supply. I've got a 850 Evo solid state drive as my boot drive, plus a 1 terabyte 7200 RPM SATA drive, plus another 500 gigs from my old computer that are still good. I've gotten this through Main Gear. Now, I did a lot of research trying to figure out, what do I want in a new gaming PC and everything like that. And I decided, you know what? I've never had a top-of-the-line gaming PC with stuff that just came out. So I decided to do it. I looked at this, and like I said, I'm gonna name other places. I looked at iBuyPower, bunch of complaints about them, and they're the same company as one other company that's out there, which I forget their name is. And then I was looking at a place called Digital Storm. Now, Digital Storm has some really cool cases, and what originally attracted me to them was the fact that I could get a liquid cooling system, free upgrades to the processor clock, to the graphics card, everything like that. However, if you look them up, it is a fucking shitstorm nightmare of customer complaints. Their replies to people were condescending, everything like that. And so I started going, building a computer myself has always been less expensive, but if I'm only going to be saving a couple $100, I'm going to let somebody else fucking deal with all the RMA bullshit and installing stuff and hooking things up. I don't want to deal with it anymore. This is why I went and bought a boutique computer.
Yep.
I started looking at other places. Falcon Northwest was too expensive. Pugent or Pugent or however it's pronounced, too expensive. And I kept seeing Main Gear. Mm-hmm. I ended up with a better computer and better customer service that I could get over at Digital Storm with Main Gear. Now, this is what's really impressed me. Every time I would send them an email, within 10 minutes, somebody would reply to me. I even got a phone call after I put in the order. Someone from their shop called my phone and said, "Hey, this is who I am. I want to make sure you're happy with your configuration. If you wanted to change anything before I finalize your order." That is some customer service. They even said, "Yeah, I don't have any suggestions for you. You've upgraded everything, pretty much top of the line." He goes, "I don't have any suggestions for you. Everything looks great. It's going to be a rock solid build. We stress test it for 3 days before we actually kick it out to make sure everything's working." And if he had any suggestions, he would have said, "Yeah, you might want to think about changing to this or changing to that." And he goes, "Nope, just get everything." And right afterwards, I got confirmation. And the guy that I've been talking to through my email said, "Hey, I noticed that your order had a typo in your email address. I fixed that, so now you're getting all the notifications." They build the systems build in about 10 to 15 days, and then it's shipped out. I should be getting my computer around the 22nd. Maybe to about the 25th. I'll do a Nerd Tech review on it once I get the full system and I've got everything running, and I'm running Skyrim with all kinds of crazy fucking mods. I'm running and hey, look, Gambit, I'm sorry, but seeing the actual gameplay, I'm gonna get fucking Doom.
No, I get Doom. Now this is for the fans out there. Yeah, the fans out there, we talked about it a little bit. I think we've talked about it. I don't know if we ever talked about it on the podcast, but me, Wild, and Sonny have talked about it off podcast, and they're like, "Man, how's Doom?" Because and I'm like, I tell them, I'm like, guys, it's just fucking Doom. Like this, I have people coming into my store. I have people coming into my store all the time, going, "It's a great game. It's fucking polished as shit. The storyline's exactly the same." I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's fucking Doom. It's literally Doom. It's not. It's not
it's
Doom.
Pretty and shiny
It's not Doom 2. It's not Doom 2. It's not Doom 3. It's not Doom BFG edition. It's not Doom the Son of Doom. It's not the Temple of Doom. It's just fucking Doom.
Yeah, they literally have the classic levels built into the reimagined levels, and
which is a cool feature.
Which is really cool. So you can see what the level used to look like and what it looks like now.
It's literally
just a reskin of the original Doom. but it's
So
fast.
yeah, for the fans out there that don't know, when you're playing it, if you pull a lever, you get to experience the same level as the 8-bit graphics, which is actually a pretty cool little touch feature. But again, it's just fucking Doom. I feel like I've been saying Doom a lot.
It's nostalgic.
But yeah, and like I said, so I'm gonna be doing a nerd tech review on it now. The best thing about this is, when I first moved here to Nevada, I didn't have a TV and I needed to play my PlayStation 4, so I bought a 32-inch LCD 1080p monitor that I'm going to be using as my computer monitor now.
Nice.
So yeah, I can't say enough good things about Main Gear right now. Like I said, it's a great customer service. The community looks good, and like I said, you look at the complaints, and you don't find them like you do on some of these other companies.
Since we're reviewing the company, how many nerd boners?
Right now, I would say let's do this out of 5 because again, this is just an initial reaction to everything. I'm gonna give them 4 nerd boners out of 5.
A solid 4. Okay.
A solid 4.
You know, it sounds like a good company. You don't get very many of those these days. In you know, I've ranted about this in the past. You know, with you guys off of podcasts, but nowadays it's there used to be the customer's always right. Now it's the customer's fuck you.
Yeah. Oh, well, we've got your money, so fuck you.
Yeah. Thanks for your money. Good luck with what product we give you, and if you need help in the future.
Oh yeah, and okay. Now here's the cool thing. Not only is it free shipping on anything over $2,000, but if you get any Intel compatible X99 motherboard, it's an instant $150 off. It is enough to give you a 2-year warranty and still be cheaper than what you would have been paying without the discount. So I've got a 2-year fucking warranty on this bit. I'm very happy with them from now, and yeah, it's great.
Today, I'm going to be reviewing a sword that I've had for years, and it happens to be right along with what we're doing. I own a real-life Master Sword.
Fuck yes.
I bought it at a place that you guys have probably heard me talk about by the name of Silk Road, which no longer exists.
Again, not the deep web Silk Road.
Yeah.
This was a brick and mortar place.
This was a ma and pa place that sold all sorts of amazing shit that I got most of my awesome swords from. But this place, they sold 2 versions of this sword. I got the skinnier Link to the Past version. And of course they had the thicker Ocarina of Time one, which I was gonna buy and do kind of like a swords crossed on the wall with the Hylian shield between them. But I ran out of time and money. The actual sword comes in this amazing sheath, and the sheath is painted. It's beautiful. Like I said, I'll post a photo of it. It's beautiful. It's painted, and it's got this really beautiful. You pull it out of the sheath, and the first thing you see is the Triforce on the next to the hilt. You know, on over like by the cross sheath, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful sword. I'll give it we'll go out of 10 like usual. I'll give it a 8 out of 10 nerd boners because it's just. I think the only problem I have is it doesn't always fit completely into the sheath. Yeah,
and that's just the design because things shift and move.
Yeah,
and it probably has a rat tail tang, not a full tang.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not like I'm gonna go out there and really kill things with it.
It's not combat ready.
Yeah, it's not made for fighting. It's made for show item that I'll show people and they're like, oh my god, it's a Zelda sword. No, lady, it's the Master Sword. Now put this in you.
Damn it, it's the Master Sword.
Well, I guess I'll just end this with it did boggle my mind, blow me away, got a little nostalgic. 30 episodes, guys. It's a big fucking deal. It's a huge thing for us to just sit here and you guys listen to us for 30 episodes. Now, I haven't been privy to all the episodes, but I will say I started off as a fan. Thunder and Wild really kind of adopted me into the podcast. I appreciate you guys. I love being here. I love working for you guys. And when I say working, I don't mean it's work, because this isn't work, guys. We don't get paid or nothing like that. Yeah. But I love working with you guys, making these, because they're always a great time for me. I always look forward to doing them. The Twitter account will be up. Like I said, you nerds have my word on it. I'll be managing that. So, which is actually a great way to, if you ever need to get a hold of me, personally, if you want to know where I'm going to be at Comic-Con or Ren fairs, or if you want to do an interview with me about why you think nerd is the new sexy, you can contact me personally through Twitter. And on the next episode, we will make an announcement of what the actual name is, and I will throw it onto the link of Facebook. Otherwise, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for putting up with my annoyingly sexy voice. And look for me at the Denver Ren Fair.
Looking to get the Nerd is the New Sexy comic done here soon. It's going to cover topics that we don't necessarily going to cover on the podcast. Things that we just like have quick conversations about, and quick stuff. I'm gonna try not to make it have overreaching story arcs between each thing. It's gonna be more of episodic type things, and I'll have that on WordPress. I've already locked down the nerdsnewsexy.wordpress.com.
And as you know, we're gonna be doing the Nerds in the Kitchen. We also got a few other things up our sleeve. It was mentioned that we were gonna do possible T-shirts. We got plans for that. We'll see where that goes. And everyone, thanks for listening, and we want you to stay sexy. Hey, 30 episodes. Thanks for staying with us.
Yeah, stay sexy.
Thank you.